Thank you so much for joining us at Young at Heart today. I'm Rhonda Van Winkle, and today we're going to talk about the mortgage crisis and some possible solutions for Pahrump homeowners and Americans. We'll be speaking via satellite with Restorelution Trustee Corporation, who are a group of Christians with a strong banking and real estate background who seem to have an administrative answer that lines up biblically with a remedy to today's mortgage crisis. Now I'm speaking with Clarence Rowland. Hi Clarence, are you there?
How are you, Rhonda? Glad to be here with you.
I'm so happy you're here with us today. With some of the things you have to say today are going to be so interesting to our audience. So audience, please listen carefully. I really think that this company can help you guys. Now, obviously we have a mortgage crisis. That's fair to say, don't you think?
It is.
It is. So why are we in this situation when our government has taken action to prevent it with a bailout?
Well, you know, Rhonda, thank you for mentioning that we are a Christian corporation with biblical answers. In Matthew 18:23, there's a discussion of that the kingdom of heaven is likened unto a certain king that was reconciling his kingdom, and a certain servant banker was brought before him that owed him 10,000 talents, $1 billion. And as much as he had not to pay, the king ordered him, his wife, and children to be thrown into prison, all that they owe to be sold. The man fell down, worshiped the king, and said, "Be patient with me, king. I'll pay you all that I owe." The king had compassion on him and forgave him all his debts. This banker left from the presence of the king and found the first fellow servant that owed him 10 pence, about $20. He took the man by the throat, began to choke him, and demanded that he pay all that he owed. As much as the man had not to pay, the man said, "Be patient with me, I'll pay you all that I owe." The banker would not. He threw the man, his wife, and children into debtor's prison. And when those around saw what had happened, they told the king, who called the banker back before him and said, "You wicked banker, why didn't you forgive your fellow servant as I had just forgiven you?" And he turned him over to the tormentors. In like fashion, the banks and the financial institutions of America came before the nation in 2008 and said, "Be patient with us. We will surely fail." Not only were we compassionate and forgave them their debt, but we gave them a bailout bonus. And at that point, they turned right around and began to foreclose on the American people in larger numbers and percentages than that of the Great Depression. That's wicked.
That is, and they took their bonuses on top of it. So what makes your company then different from any other company? Why should we trust you?
Well, thanks for asking that question too, because the thing that really distinguishes us can be found in Colossians 2:14, where God said that he would blot out the handwriting on the note, the bond, the deed of trust, which was arranged against us with its legal demands and decrees. Restorelution Trustee Corporation doesn't attempt to modify a loan. They don't try to negotiate a loan. They blot out the note. We seek a remedy that leaves you with your home free and clear.
Wow, that sounds really, really, that is different. That sounds amazing and hard to believe, but what if I'm in foreclosure and the date's coming up in 2 weeks? Can you help me then?
Absolutely. You know, Restorelution Trustee Corporation, we're not only administrative, but we do have a legal team. So if we have to, we can file a temporary restraining order, or send you to an attorney that can file one for you, so you can have the time to file an administrative process that will give you the opportunity to see whether or not you really owe the companies that's making a demand, that's attempting to foreclose on your home. A great majority of these homes are being foreclosed on. The people who are foreclosing on have no rights, assignment, or deed to your property. They just have more information than you do.
Interesting. Well, why don't these loan modifications help? Because I know that so many people who are in foreclosure, they're trying to get loan modifications, but why doesn't that help them?
Well, you know, earlier we call this banker in the Bible wicked. In this case, we're not talking about any person. We're talking about a system. What's wicked is that in 2008, this country set aside $500 billion and gave it to Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. This money was intended to reduce the principal and make payments more affordable. After all, people were paying these premiums for this insurance from their monthly payments. But what took place is when the crises hit, the banks started requesting people default on their payments so that they could begin a foreclosure process. And only when they foreclose on a home can the bank keep the entire face amount of that insurance premium and keep the home too. So what's wicked about it is that we are already prepared for it, but bankers are not allowing people to exercise their rights.
So the bankers don't care because they're getting their insurance money and they get the house back, and the homeowner's the one left to suffer. Okay, so I'm understanding that, but now if I've got a notice of default, I'm worried. I'm thinking I have to get out of my home. Do I have to?
Absolutely not. You should remain in your home. We've all heard that possession is 9/10 the law. You stay in your home, you contend. You work with us, you work with anybody, but you began to contend for your home and challenge the note, and you will always retain your home.
Okay, well that's comforting to know. So now here we are. You're helping me out. I'm in this situation, and we're gonna try to fight this note. But when I signed an escrow, the seller, the real estate company, and even we all got a check. So how is it that I can show that I didn't borrow actual money?
That's an interesting question, and the answer is this. Banks do not lend money, they extend credit. The difference is if I take $500 out of my pocket and I give it to my kids to buy school clothes, or we go and I prepare to send my kid to college, that's real money because that currency is already in circulation. I could give it to my kid, I can pay for school tuition, I can do all the things that we need to do. But if we take $500, if we go to a store and we use our credit card and not our debit card and we swipe it, well, that's the first time that currency, that $500 ever circulated in the economy, and it was based on your name and social security number, not the bank's name.
That's really interesting. I never ever thought of it that way, but that really does make sense. So then what is your process, and why is your process considered administrative and not a judicial process?
Restorelution Trustee Corporation is a non-judicial administrative company. We are trustees just like foreclosures trustees. We use a series of notifications and presentments and letters just like they do. They foreclose on you without ever going to court. Well, we make a demand against them without ever going to court. And we'll show you step by step. We'll partner with you to contend for your loan. We've done hundreds of these. We're excited about them, and we've never lost possession of anyone unless they decided to leave their home. No one has ever lost a home unless they decided to.
Wow, okay. So if there's a process like this that exists, why doesn't anybody know about it?
Well, one of the reasons they don't know about it is because there's so many companies that are out there, contending, and the media and other, officials are just not. They don't know how to distinguish the good ones from the bad ones. So you never really know. So you have to have someone come and put it on the line and share who they are and what the process is, and just make sure when you begin a process that it bears witness with you, it resonates with you. They say something that makes sense and that you can back it up.
So does that kind of go along with the fact that, somebody's trying to help, but they're thought of as being a scam? Is that what you're talking about? Because, there is help out there, but nobody can believe it?
Well, somewhat. You have to understand, our public officials are doing a great job. They're doing everything they can to protect people from this, from being scammed. But modifications, people are legitimately trying to get people modifications, but being turned down by the banks. And so because of the great numbers that are being turned down, it looks like they've taken their money and gotten no results. So even an honest modification company can be mistaken.
I see. All right, well, how can Restorelution Trustee Corporation help homeowners? What do they need to do?
Restorelution is simply ready to review your documents and give you a direction. We're ready to talk to you right now and make sure that you always remain in your home and be debt-free. That's all we can say for now.
Great. Well, audience, I am here with Clarence Rowland. Thank you so much, Clarence, for joining us today. This information is just so needed, and I hope that you'll be back on.
Thank you, and God bless.
God bless you too. Did you know that during the Great Depression, nearly 1/3 of all American homeowners followed a procedure and received their home free and clear through the Homestead Act? Restorelution Trustee Corporation still believes in the American dream, helping homeowners stay in their homes. Call Restorelution Trustee Corporation today and they'll help you take back your dream. I'm Rhonda Van Winkle. Thank you so much for joining us.